Many women after birth are really feeling exhausted and they feel tired and they don't know why. And today we are with Marlene. Marlene, you are a wellness strategist for women and you work with moms. And I hear that you are an athlete, a former athlete, retired right now.
Yes, I am indeed. I'm also a mother myself, so what I'm sharing today, trust me, I'll probably been through most of what you're going through and maybe some more.
That's really awesome. So it's such an important job. So many women today, we need them to be great mothers, to take care of their children, but we also need them to be happy and healthy, right? Or they don't do a very good job as mothers, and various other problems with the families. That's no good. So I'm interested. How did you get to what you're doing right now? What is some of your story? And maybe you can share a little bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't by fluke I ended up here. It's to be honest, thinking of becoming a mother when I was younger, that was a really scary thought to me because the stories you hear or the things that were around me was that like make sure you get everything done that you want to have done, because once you have kids, it's all about, it's all about the children. It's not about you anymore. So for me, that was very, as I said, scary. That I wasn't ready to let myself go, like stop thinking of myself, if that makes sense. I wanted still to be selfish within, like if I'm gonna give that. But when I met my husband, then I still, even though it was a scary thought to me to become a mother, it was still something I felt I want to experience this together with him. So when I was about mid-30s, because I became an elite athlete quite late in life. So I didn't start competing until I was 27. And then I was part of like the top 1% for many, many years after that. But as a woman, you start feeling that biological clock a little bit. I can't drag this out for too long. So when I was in my mid-30s, we decided, okay, now it's time to stop competing and we're going to start having a family. And I did. And maybe part of me felt a little bit too confident that I was going to rock and roll at being a mother, because I had all this experience of taking care of my body, to eating right and moving right, and even coaching other people how to do it. So I thought, this I got nailed, no problem. It's just the parenting part that we all wing all the time. We have no clue what we're doing until we're actually in it. But then when I became a new mom, that wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, to do this self-care part, to actually still fulfill these values I still had. Like I wanted to eat well. Moving and exercising was still a big part of me, even though I wasn't competing anymore. It's very important for me to take care of my body as if I'm an athlete, even if I'm not. Also, I wanted to study. I wanted to start build up my business, because I wanted to shift from in-person coaching to more virtual coaching. So I had to build things from scratch. And I just had such a hard time finding time to do all of those things, like working on my business, taking care of my body. And obviously, I wanted to be a good mother. And it was just so frustrating for me, because I did all these plans and I had all these things laid out. And every time a plan fell through, something got in the way. I couldn't get everything done. I felt so frustrated, because you feel behind this timeline that you want, and I'm not doing enough for myself, and you feel guilty because I'm not doing enough for my son, and because now I try to spend time over here. It was just very overwhelming time. And I just had to sit down and decide that, what is going on? Why am I struggling so much? It shouldn't be this difficult. And the irony is that this is something that we are not taught as mothers. We study up on how to take care of our children, about parenting books, about how to introduce solid foods, whatever it is regarding them, but nobody teaches us how to look after us in this new phase, because it's so different compared to anything else. So that's when I decided I just need to revamp what I was doing, because I try to apply things very similar to what I have done before I had children. And obviously that doesn't work. My body is different. My values are different. The resources I have available is very different. And I just had to create a system to make that work. So that is just what got me on this path, because now I just wanted to, I don't want mothers to feel like they don't have that support and knowledge, because as you said, being a mother is such an important job, and being able to take care of yourself in that process so you can do a good job is crucial. So I want to be that path that women has that resource and support how to learn this. We don't just learn about taking care of our kids, but we need the knowledge and support to take care of ourselves as well.
So I'm wondering, like, from your background, maybe growing up, like how did you witness your mother taking care of herself, or maybe struggling to do so? Like, what did you see, and what did you experience, and how did you feel about that?
Very interesting point. Because I do see that with a lot of mothers that have, as you said, self-sacrificing mothers. I actually had a client that I worked with. She really struggled. She said, like, I want to start training again, and it's just really difficult. I didn't find the time. Because she was also a working mother. She had a lot on the go. She had a very supportive husband, but still she felt it was really difficult. And I asked also the same question. It turns out that her mother was that very self-sacrificing mother. She grew up with a single mom who never saw her friends. She never did anything for herself. She only spent time with her family. So as you said, you get that disconnect between, it doesn't feel right, because I haven't seen that example in my life. So my mom, we were very fortunate. She was a stay-at-home mom, but she was fairly okay with doing things for herself as well. Well, I think the biggest struggle for for myself, when that made me struggle, is that I had the perfectionist part of me that served me extremely well when I was an athlete, to do perfect routines, to stick to a plan, to optimize things, and finding the best way to do something and getting the results and being productive. So when I became a mother, all of a sudden I liked control of my schedule, control over my time. So when you become a mother, that is so not what you have. All of a sudden, all those things that I liked, like, I don't have control of my time anymore, because now my son is the king of the castle, to oppose to a certain way. If he wakes up in the middle of the night, I'm not going to let him lay and cry. I need to get up, whether I like it or not. And it was also, as I said, I planned all these routines because I wanted things to be perfect. Like, with the experience that I had, I knew if I want to gain this much strength, if I want to, whatever it might have been, this is the perfect way for me to get there. But I couldn't do it perfectly because I get interrupted. I don't have the same time to do things. I don't have 2 hours to warm up and mobilize and then do my training and rest the perfect amount and then start again. And so that was a lot of the struggle I had, that I had to embrace 2 things. First one was that I don't have the same time and resources anymore. And even if I was able to, I wasn't willing to put the perfect amount of time, because I want to be with my son. So that was something I just have to realize and be honest with myself. How much am I willing to spend? And then find the balance between there. And I had to realize I can't do things perfectly. It's not going like my plans are going to go to, excuse the language, shit sometimes. That's just the way it is. Motherhood is chaotic. And the third part was that since I can't do things as perfectly as I want to, progress will be slower. And that's okay. That I just allow the timeline to be a bit longer.
So, I mean, I'm briefly going back to this, but you said something a bit interesting, and I want to ask your opinion on it. So you said that your mother, she did okay. She was happy doing what she was doing. That's great. And for you, you wanted something different. And I think for some women, yeah, their children is their life, but that's not all women, right? And some women, they have children, and their children is not the only thing that they have, and they might feel guilty, or they might feel like something is wrong, or that's not okay, or maybe other people are teaching them or telling them that, you know, how they should be. So what is your experience with this? I'm sure you've spoken to so many women who maybe they didn't feel like they have the freedom, or they literally didn't have freedom even, maybe.
So if just understanding you correctly, I think a little bit what we're touching upon is the, I think the expectation that a lot of women place on themselves, that we should be able to do it all, especially in this, like the modern woman. She should be a working woman. She should be a great mom. She should have lots of friends and good big social circle, and that we should be active within other things. You know, it's, I think that is what tripping us up a lot, that yeah, we believe that we should be able to do it all, that we should be able to excel all the time in every area of our life, like at the same time, which just isn't true. You know, that's such a myth. And I don't like that that's being fed to anybody, because nobody, like even if you're a mother, not a mother, it's you're a woman, you're a man, like we can't excel in every single area all the time. It's just impossible. So it is, maybe that's something that I also took from being an athlete, that made me realize with, because as an athlete, you have what's called periodization in your training. You don't train 100% all the time. I don't do really hard on my strength, and then I do really hard explosive training, then I do really hard technique training, really like that I train so hard in every single area, because if I did, I'd probably get injured and I'd
Not
overtrain.
all year. There's periods of
Yeah.
rest, periods. Yeah.
So you, and the same as you need to see in life. So with, that's where you can't be fully present in your career and advance your career maximally with optimal career path, and then you're the super present parent who never misses a school play, who always does the homework and read every single book, and you go to the gym as many times as you plan this week and spend 2 hours there. It's just, as you said, things need to have go in waves. So sometimes we focus a little bit more on one, and then the other things are on maintenance, and then we let them alternate, and that is how you progress at the end of the day. Because if you try to do everything all the time, you just burn out and you can't do anything anymore.
So what does that mean for kids? Because, you know, a kid doesn't go away after the wave, right? But a child will have periods of growth, and, you know, they are more dependent on their mother, I guess, until 6 or 7. Or maybe I'm getting this wrong. Like, what is the truth? If it's not that you can excel in everything, what do you do when you have kids?
It's, as I said, you need, I think we progress will be slower.
Yeah.
As I said, like
So
it's not, it's
let's
like the
say,
parent part. Okay, now continue.
yeah. So I'll just strengthen my question. So yeah, you have a career, right? But I guess you're saying that you cannot fully excel in a career and be at the top of the top, and you would probably know because you were there, and in the same time be the perfect mother. too much, unless you have a lot of resources and a lot of support and a lot of help, maybe. I'm guessing. So that's not really possible, right? And when we have kids, but maybe a lot of women, and maybe this will bring us back to topic, is a lot of women, they have their kids, and then there's too much balance towards the kids, like they lose themselves, lose who they are and what they like and what they need, and they forget to take care of themselves, and so they swing, like, to the extreme. And I think that you're somebody that brings balance to these mothers and teaches them strategies on how to do things, like they probably don't even need to sacrifice as much as they think they need. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you bring a very good point. It is that you say, like, we have, usually they see themselves like either I'm doing my career or I'm the mother. And you, as you said, you swing kind of between those things. And so I think especially when you're a working mom and you're away from your child, it, like, personally for me, I can feel like I'm a working stay-at-home mom, so I'm work while I'm kind of with him. But if I'm not with him for a few hours, you feel guilty, like you miss them, especially now when they're little. Like my son is 3, so it's, so like when they're older, you get a different relationship with them because also your child is more independent. And also once they reach certain ages, especially towards like the tweens and teenagers, then they uh, even the role of other role models become more important. That's like, that is their time to kind of break away from you and they're not as dependent on you. But like these younger ages, um, I think, yeah, it's easy as a mom to swing, like once you've been at work, you go full swing into being the mother because we feel like we need to make up for the time we lost, which is like, I totally get it, that we feel like we want to connect with them again. But then it's just realizing that we can only give as much as we have. So when we uh, swing and just go between I'm being the career woman and the mother, we kind of forget ourselves in the process. And that's why we feel so stressed out and overwhelmed, because we're never putting anything back into the system. So as you said, that needs to be the balance. We need to learn to replenish, and even in ways that doesn't take a lot of time to do, because they can just become part of our day. It doesn't need to be you need to leave for an hour spa day to recharge and be yourself. It can be done much more simpler and much more integrated into your day, so you don't feel that guilt.
Yeah. So you can't pour from an empty cup. If you are empty and depleted, everybody else is going to suffer. And this is very important for men and women and even children to understand and take care of themselves better. So what are some strategies or things that you find that your clients who are new mothers or mothers, what are some things that they struggle with, and how do you help them um, solve these issues?
What the most common ones is, they don't, as we said, they feel like they don't have time to do these things. And that's usually because a lot of the things that we discussed, we have this, they go in with this all or nothing mindset that I also had in the beginning, that unless I do like change a lot or do a lot in one go, at least I need to spend like an hour to do this. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So that is kind of also what self sabotages us, that we try to do too much in one go. So that's why we
We're,
don't find the time, because it's very rare for us to find like half an hour where we can just sit and do our thing.
so just to clarify, we're talking about just basic health, right? Good, healthy, nutritious food, maybe a workout here and there, sleep, a nap, um, candle bubble bath, right? Stuff like this. They struggle to find the time to to be happy, and a lot of these, sometimes these little things, are important. Like we disregard them, but they make us sane, right? So these new mothers, they're so busy, right? Their children need them for many many hours of the day. I'm guessing. I've never had kids. Um, how do you help them? Like, what is it that you actually sit down and you do with somebody, and they say to you, wow, I didn't even think about that. That's amazing. This is going to allow me an extra bubble bath a week, or to eat that oatmeal that I pre-made last night, or something like that.
So first we need to sit down and see, like, where are we at with, what kind of resources do we have? Like, how much time and energy and so forth, like money, do you have available and are willing to spend on, like, we need to allocate our resources. So what do we have to work with, first of all? And then we usually have to go back to your previous question a little bit. This biggest struggle is that as women, we want to go back to, like, we want to bounce back, like we want to have our body back, we want to feel like ourselves again, because it's almost like an outer body experience sometimes to become a mom, because everything is so different, like physically, emotionally. Everything is just very, very different mentally. I just even tell my husband, for example, since we had our son, like, I wake up so easily. Like, he can cough and I wake up, and he can scream his head off, and my husband wouldn't bat an eye. He wouldn't wake up at all, because it's just the difference in how your brain just rewires, whether you like it or not, when you go through this. So I want to make it very clear to them when we sit down, like, it's not about going back to who you used to be. We need to look at, plan for your future self. So, like, what is it that you want to achieve, and where's the gap? So this is where we're at. This is what you want to, like, this is who you want to be. So what kind of habits and behaviors do we need to structure into your day in order for that to happen? And then depending on the person, as you said, how much they need, like how much they work, how much support, which is very, very crucial, the amount of support someone has in order to make that happen. And then we plan that out. And I always have, we need to plan for your busiest day, whatever we can fit in terms of nutrition, how much rest you can get, like extra rest you can get, time for yourself, what to do, just whatever is important to you. And like some movement, whatever you need to, in terms of, like, do you need to like work out? Do you need to just rest? Like, and find what works for each person. Because so many, they try to, as I said, do the optimal, and that's why things always keep getting in the way, because you're planning for the perfect day, not for your busiest day, which is usually most days. So that is like the strategy behind it, what we can fit in, and then give them a very honest timeline. So this is what you can do. This is what you're willing to do. So this is probably how long it's going to take. It's not going to be a 6-week transformation. We're not going to get into a dress in 2 weeks by losing 10 kilos. It needs to be something that is part of your day.
Awesome. So, um, you know, you seem like a strategist. Like, you can see, you calculate all your resources, including time, and you make a plan out of this. That's really important. That's like the first step for any goal. You need to get organized and get clear on what is it that you want. And you have so much of your own experience, not only from your life experience being an athlete and being successful there. You've brought that mindset into motherhood. That's quite impressive. That's cool. um, and what are some of the amazing things that you've seen happen with the women that you've worked with? Because I think this will probably be the most inspiring part of this talk today. Because I think a lot of women that they're in this problem, they can't even imagine some of the things that you are probably able to accomplish. So what are some amazing things that you've seen?
Something that I shared with one of my friends very recently, actually, because was stuck in this stop starting. It's like I start something, like I get to the gym and then I'm pretty good, even with my food, like everything kind of lines up a little bit once she started one habit. And then something got in the way and I stop, and then she just got overwhelmed. So I told her I said, to be honest, like you're trying to do too much. Because when I said to her, when I was an athlete, I used to train 15 to 20 hours a week. That was how much time I spent to have the strength and agility and all that I had to compete. And I said, now on a good week, maybe I train 4 hours, like spread out. It's like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Not like, probably not even actually. So let's say 3 hours a week spread out in shorter sessions. And I say I probably have 80% of what I had. Some things I'm very close to my maxes in how I lift and things like that. And I train a fraction of what I used to do. So I said I spend it's about doing things smarter, right? So the 80% of the result is from 20% of the work. So I said, I don't need the last 20%. I don't need to be perfect. I can just train literally like 3 hours instead of 15, and I have 80% of the result. And that's amazing. So I said, you're pushing too hard. I said, just scale it down so you can stay consistent and you will get that 80%. So that is like a little bit the epiphany for her, like, oh my God, it's like you can actually, like, you're actually that strong and you only train this much. So I said, yes, it doesn't need to be a lot for it to matter as long as you can be consistent. So that's like one of the keys. One other thing that I had with one of the ladies I was working with, she, again, like I said, we're scattered, we're overwhelmed, feeling stressed. She struggled with her sleep. She usually felt so exhausted that she needed to go home and take a nap in the afternoon. She was just finished after work. And so for her, because she wanted to, okay, I need to exercise and I want a meal plan because I want to lose some weight. And the more I talk to her, when you hear these, like, they're just so depleted. I said, like, you're so tired that you need to go to sleep, that you don't have resources to give. And you want to exercise, which is going to deplete you even more. You're going to cut down, you want to cut down calories to lose weight quickly. You're going to deplete yourself even more. And that's usually why many women, they start in the wrong, they start on the wrong side. Like, we're already in a depleted state. And then we want to throw ourselves into exercise. We want to start cutting down our meals. We want to start eating less just to get our body back. And it's like you're depleting yourself even more. So no wonder you don't feel motivated to do it, because something inside you is just screaming, enough. I don't have any more to give. So with her, we just set a little mindset routine for her to just try to like calm down her nervous system a little bit, get her more centered, get her more organized. And we prioritized her sleep. And about 6 weeks in of doing that, she messaged me and she said, you know what? Like, for the first time, she had like a weight plateau, the infamous weight plateau that we get to a point and we can't get below it. She said, I've been stuck at this weight for years. I said, now for first time ever, I finally gone below this weight. And that was like, that was without exercising. That was without doing anything to her meals. It was just getting her, like, letting her body replenish and just starting with that. So now her body could finally take a sigh of relief and be willing to let that weight go. So those are some of the things, like I said, we need to start from the right side of the pyramid and not depleting ourselves even more. We replenish, put things in the system. We have more to give. And then we can actually see the really cool results.
That's really awesome, because yeah, I guess women, they put on weight after they give birth. So if she was struggling with that for so long, and you could just help her by identifying, like, how she's basically torturing herself, and telling her, stop, be nice to yourself. Be a little bit kind to yourself. It's not going to kill you. It's actually going to help you lose weight. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I think that what you do, Marlene, is really awesome and really important. I really appreciate this talk. What if somebody wants to work with you? How can they find you?
The easiest for me is usually on my Instagram, which is Mighty Moms Community. And there you can find me. You can get, there's even a link in my bio to my community page where you have free resources, you get emails, you have recipes, interviews. This interview is going to be there if you want to rewatch it and make sure you don't miss a good segment. And for those who are like really ready to take the next step, they feel like, okay, I'm really stuck and I'm interested, but I'm not sure what to do if I'm the right person. I offer, you can apply to do a free 5-day challenge with me where we get you started and just try to get you unstuck with where you're at.
That's awesome. That's really great value and so interesting. So yeah, thank you so much, and talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. It was, hopefully I've been able to serve your audience well. And yeah, it was always great chatting with you guys.